Yo, we back at it. New video. It's your boy Sid from The Scales Will Prevail. We continue in the series on the sun through the houses, right? Yeah, sun in this third house. So, sun, of course, ego, identity. It's your vitality. It's your self-expression. It's the role you're playing, basically. It represents how you shine, basically, and where you shine in terms of the sign will be how you're shining, and the actual house is where you're shining. So you're going to be shining in this third house, right, when you have this placement. It also is going to denote your father in terms of how he was as an individual. Aspects can always change things, but this is just something to think about, right? So let's talk about this third house. Third house this is a Gemini house, right? So Gemini ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules over communications. So this is actually what this house, one of the things that it actually represents. It represents how you communicate, how you think. On another level, this can denote siblings. This can denote relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, things of that nature. Also, this house tells us about how you move about in your immediate neighborhood when you go on short distance journeys, right? And your relationship to neighbors as well, too. So again, always start with, when you're trying to delineate information, start with the sign that's on the cusp, basically, right? You want to do that, and then the planets that are there will actually flavor the house. So we talking about the sun, right? When the sun comes into this house. So this is similar to having the sun in Gemini or Leo on the third house. It's a similar type of energy, third house cusp, basically. So what happens when your sun comes into this house? On one end, it just tells us that you shine in areas that deal with communication. This can make you naturally witty, naturally like a jack of all trades. You can have a lot of knowledge in different areas, different fields. You can know a little bit about a lot, basically, when you have this type of placement. The drawback to this is that the sun represents ego and pride. So you just got to be mindful, that you're not only thinking about yourself, because, the sun is ourself, but you also, you can have a lot of pride with this placement in your mindset, basically. A lot of ego, which is all what this sun denotes. So that's like the drawback of it. But yeah, the positive side is you could be an intellectual with this placement. You would shine naturally in the areas of communication, media, which is all third house. Writing, literature, things of that nature. And, you do well in these areas. If we want to think about energy outside of you, I pretty much stated how this house represents siblings as well, relatives, right? Neighbors, things of this nature. On one end, it can denote that, for instance, your siblings, right? In particular, it would be like your first youngest sibling, but it could be like a broad energy in terms of siblings, right? It can show like maybe your siblings being well known. And it can also be a dynamic too, to where you want to actually be known amongst your siblings. So this could be like siblings becoming popular, siblings being popular, basically, being well known. You could be the same, basically, because you're exhibiting this same type of energy. It's the sun's energy, which is very bright. It's a kingly type of energy, right? In the same area. This is also your immediate neighborhood. So this can talk about your sibling, your first younger sibling, or siblings, period, being well known in the neighborhood, and you as well, right? Your father dynamic. If we talk about him, I would think he's someone also who's known in your neighborhood. And also, if the sun is making a conjunction, meaning it's sitting right by the IC, which is the fourth house cusp, the sun's energy is going to also affect the fourth house. And what is the fourth house? The fourth house is basically, it's your home, right? So it tells us that your father would have been close to home as well, too. He could be known in the neighborhood and close to home. Now, if it's coming through a sign like Aquarius, there could still be like a feeling of detachment, basically, that you would feel even if he is close to home. Just as an example. If it's Aries, he could be a bit independent, you know what I mean? So I'm just throwing some things out there because, of course, the sign and certain aspects can change the energy, whatever else is going through that third house. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, this house deals with our early education, right? This can revolve any type of dramatic arts. You may have thought about acting, right? You may have thought about being on stage, basically. You could have been into this when you were younger, or even doing things around children, any type of early learning around children, things of this nature. Anything that deals with entertainment, dramatic arts. This could be something that you actually think about, this placement. Trying to see if there's anything else I want to discuss. Your father has the same type of wittiness about him as well too, because again, it's a representation of him, so he's shining in this area of communication as well too. You know, so yeah, that's pretty much the take on it. You know, and I hope that this video was enlightening for you. I think I pretty much stated everything I need to say. I was looking at my notes here, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, y'all have a good one. All right, peace.